Imagine living your entire life without a single bar of soap. No shampoo, no body wash, not even a toothbrush. Sounds disgusting, right? But for over 99% of human history, that's exactly how our ancestors lived. Yet here's the surprising part. They weren't nearly as dirty as you might think. Ancient humans didn't have supermarkets or bathrooms, but they had something just as powerful: nature itself. Rivers became showers. Sand became a scrub brush. Certain plants worked like soap, even thousands of years before anyone invented it. Staying clean wasn't about smelling nice. It was about survival. Dirty wounds could become deadly infections. Parasites could spread through an entire group. So keeping the body clean wasn't a luxury. It was one of the oldest survival skills ever learned. Today, we're traveling back tens of thousands of years to discover how ancient humans kept themselves clean without a single drop of soap. And some of their methods might surprise you. If you think ancient humans simply jumped into a river and called it a day, think again. Water alone can wash away loose dirt, but sticky oils, sweat, and dead skin often stay behind. Over thousands of years, people discovered that nature offered surprisingly effective cleaning tools. One of the oldest was fine river sand. When rubbed gently across wet skin, it worked like a natural scrub, removing dirt and dead skin cells. Smooth stones were also used to gently scrape away dried mud and grime after long hunts or hard work. Some plants were even more remarkable. Certain leaves, roots, and crushed berries released natural compounds that created a light foam or helped lift away grease. Long before soap was invented, people were already experimenting with the world around them, learning which plants clean the body and which should be avoided. These discoveries weren't written in books. They were passed from parents to children, generation after generation. As humans began settling into villages around 10,000 years ago, staying clean became more important than ever. Living close together meant dirt, sweat, and disease could spread much more easily. Simple water and sand still helped, but people started searching for something better. Then they noticed something unusual. After campfires burned for days, the soft gray ash left behind could help remove greasy stains from their hands. Mixed with water, wood ash formed a slippery paste that worked surprisingly well for cleaning. Animal fat could also be rubbed into dirty skin before rinsing, helping loosen sticky grime. Across different parts of the world, people experimented with plants too. Some leaves produced tiny bubbles when crushed. Others released oils that lifted dirt from the skin. No one understood the science, but through trial and error, ancient people were slowly discovering the first ingredients that would one day lead to soap. Around 5,000 years ago, something changed. Bathing was no longer just about removing dirt. It became part of everyday life. Few civilizations cared more about cleanliness than the ancient Egyptians. Living beside the Nile River gave them a constant source of fresh water, and many people bathed every day, especially those who worked in temples or served the royal court. But they still didn't have the bars of soap we know today. Instead, they cleaned their skin using a mixture made from natural oils and alkaline salts called natron, a mineral found in dry lake beds across Egypt. This mixture helped remove grease and dirt while keeping the skin fresh in the hot desert climate. The Egyptians also believed that a clean body honored the gods. Priests often washed several times a day before entering temples. Wealthier Egyptians even used scented oils and perfumes after bathing, while ordinary people relied on simple water, natron, and natural oils. As powerful civilizations spread across Europe, bathing became more than just staying clean. It became part of everyday life. In ancient Greece, people believed a healthy body and a healthy mind belonged together. After exercising, athletes covered in sweat and dust didn't use soap. Instead, they rubbed olive oil onto their skin and scraped it off with a curved metal tool called a strigil. The oil lifted dirt away, leaving the skin clean. The Romans took this idea even further. They built enormous public bathhouses, some large enough for thousands of visitors every day. People came to wash, relax, exercise, and even meet friends. A visit usually followed several steps: warming up, sweating in hot rooms, rinsing with water, and finally cleaning the skin with oil and a strigil. Even without modern soap, These bathhouses became some of the cleanest public spaces in the ancient world. For thousands of years, humans cleaned themselves with water, sand, oils, and ash. But at some point, people discovered something surprising. When animal fat mixed with wood ash and water, it created a new substance that cleaned greasy dirt much better than water alone. This was the beginning of real soap. Exactly where soap was first invented is still debated. Ancient Babylon, around 4,500 years ago, left behind some of the earliest written recipes describing mixtures of fats and ashes used for cleaning. Similar methods later appeared in Egypt, Greece, and Rome. At first, soap wasn't always used for bathing. It was often used to wash wool, cloth, and tools. Over time, people realized it could also clean the body. Slowly, soap spread from one civilization to another, becoming more common across the ancient world. When we imagine ancient humans, we often picture people covered in mud, with tangled hair and bodies that were never washed. Movies have made this image famous, but archaeology tells a different story. The truth is, most ancient people probably stayed cleaner than many of us imagine. They lived outdoors, bathed in rivers, lakes, and streams, and regularly removed dirt using sand, smooth stones, natural oils, wood ash, and even certain plants. They didn't smell like modern perfume, but that doesn't mean they were filthy. Of course, life wasn't always clean. During long winters, droughts, wars, or when clean water was scarce, bathing became much harder. Farmers, hunters, and workers often finished the day covered in sweat and dirt. But whenever water was available, people usually took the opportunity to wash. For our ancestors, staying clean wasn't about fashion or looking good. It helped protect wounds, reduce parasites, and made daily life more comfortable. They didn't have shampoo or body wash, but they had thousands of years of experience using nature itself. The next time you pick up a bar of soap or turn on a hot shower, think about this. For more than 99% of human history, none of these things existed. Yet our ancestors still found ways to stay clean using only the natural world around them. They washed in rivers, scrubbed with sand, used smooth stones, discovered useful plants, and eventually learned that wood ash and animal fat could create the first soap-like cleaners. Every generation added a little more knowledge, passing simple ideas from parents to children until they became traditions that lasted for thousands of years. Modern soap is one of humanity's greatest everyday inventions, and it has helped save countless lives by reducing the spread of disease. But its story didn't begin in a factory. It began beside rivers, around campfires, and in small villages where curious people experimented with nature. So, were ancient humans dirty? Not at all. They were clever, observant, and remarkably resourceful. They proved that even without modern technology, human curiosity could solve everyday problems. And perhaps that's the cleanest lesson history has to offer.